Hey there, welcome everyone. It's new. Wow, I got some brand new tech to bring to you today. It is featuring Strangle Gasp amulet. You might have heard rumors about this amulet being quite a special one. Really excited to bring this to you guys today. I stumbled onto it in the process of theory crafting, shall we say, a tornado shot Ascendant, which is by no means the meta at all, but I have stumbled onto something really great here. I want to share it with you guys. A lot of people already do know about the Strangle Gas, but it goes without question. Every single time I open the stream, somebody asks me about this because I'm already using this tech in a different way. Somebody asks about it every single time. There's so many people who are completely unaware of what this amulet is really used for, and I'm going to show that to you today. We're also going to have a massive gambling session. Effectively, I'm not even sure whether to call this crafting or gambling. It's somewhere in between. It's so gambling oriented that I feel like it's more of a gamble, and I'm going to be throwing away potentially up to 100 divine orbs or more in the process here. I have 13 Strangle Gasps, and they cost me on average somewhere around 10 to 12 divine orbs a piece. And long story short, we're going to be trying to brick them on purpose. So I'm just going to be valing all of them, or at least until I hit what I want. And I'll explain what that is here in a moment. So we're going to start off by introducing to you the Elegant Hubris. So this is the idea behind it. I am going to give you kind of the history on how I stumbled onto this. I'm not going to be going into great detail about like Ascendant versus Deadeye or anything like that. This is going to be applicable to anyone who is rich. I should probably mention the elephant in the room here, that I think this is actually the most expensive tech I've ever encountered before. 3 items in question: a Strangle Gasp, Elegant Hubris, and a Thread of Hope. The cheapest one being the Thread of Hope, which is like 50 divine orbs. That's the cheapest one of the 3. And the other 2 are actually way more expensive than this on average, depending on how things turn out. So I totally recognize that this is not going to be for everyone. It's not going to be for virtually anyone. But there are a few people who kind of follow in the footsteps of what I'm doing, and there's certainly an opportunity to learn a lot of great things about the game with this tech especially. And of course, I'm making this YouTube video in large part to showcase gambling, which everybody loves the high stakes gambling. This is super high stakes gambling going on here, again, or crafting, depending on how you look at it. So you will notice, if I take you down to this little website here, which will be linked in the description below, this is a timeless jewel generator, and most people are running either Lethal Prides or Brutal Restraints, and they're finding really good seeds for them. Maybe they're pairing it with an Omniscience, which is really good, helping them get a lot of attributes. Maybe they're doing a lot of double damage with a Lethal Pride. Maybe they're getting Onslaught on kill with Brutal Restraint. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can do with this, and I certainly used it, and it's a great tool. Allows you to effectively see which Timeless Jewel seeds are going to be worth buying, and Timeless Jewels have become very expensive as a consequence of that. But we're going to be looking at the Elegant Hubris, because the Elegant Hubris is special this league because it gives a bunch of rarity if you can find one that's good. Now, this is the location where most people are using their Elegant Hubris this league, at least for Tornado Shot, Deadeyes, and I'm going to try and check rarity of item support. And I can see here it comes up with some matches. And there's one that comes out above all the others. It has 4. And if we click on this, we can see that the weight, or the seed rather, 117500, has 4 different locations of 40% increased rarity of items found, for a grand total of 160% increased rarity of items found, which can be extremely valuable if you're trying to make a super well-geared or high-end magnifying character. Now, the problem with this, of course, is that these notables are all over the place, and you have no easy access to get them. I mean, this is actually one of the worst ones I've ever seen, as far as, you know, just look at what kind of pathing you would have to do. First of all, you'd have to path up to the jewel, and then after that, I mean, you just have to waste so many different points there. Now, fortunately, there are some other options, and I ultimately chose one of these that only went for 3, and that's what I've been rocking on my Deadeye for quite some time. However, upon checking out the Ascendant, you'll notice that the Ascendant over here, which starts in this portion of the map, actually begins with a starting location where it's only 4 passive points away from 3 separate jewel locations, and that gave me a whole lot of fun time, shall we say, where I got to theorycraft potential elegant hubris locations over here. And what I stumbled onto was this one on the top left. And if we go back in and we check this right here, we're going to see there's one that maxed 5 of all things, which is pretty surprising. Now, I've been aware of this one because 5 is super rare. To hit 5 of the same notable, that's really rare on any timeless jewel at all. So you'll see here that here they are. They're all 5 right here. Not terrible on the layout. But yeah, you can see them right here. And then I'm going to actually bring you back because I kind of set this up on my screen as well. And we can see here that here's my Ascendant. It's starting right here. I can path 4 points to this one or whatever. I've already pathed over to this one where it is, and I'm just going to plug mine in here. And this time, the seed is 123400. Well, that's kind of easy to remember. And we're going to see that it is called Discerning Taste. So that's what it transforms. It transforms the notables into something different. And there it is. I mean, we can see all 5 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what you're probably thinking at this point is like, okay, that's cool. Like, so I go and I path through all these. I get all of the notables, right? It's not too bad, is it? They're actually fairly close, surprisingly. And this is what some people, actually, you have to go around this way. This is what some people would do, I suppose, if they got it set up for, an Ascendant for magic finding, which you probably wouldn't run an Ascendant magic finder unless you were rich anyway, because Ascendant, generally speaking, Ascendant is kind of reserved for aura bots or someone who's got a lot of currency and can make use of the really expensive jewel slots, because that's kind of the whole point of running Ascendant, is you're getting them extra jewel slots and opportunity to use those jewels, which in this case, this Elegant Hubris is giving me a lot more magic find than before. But let's take a look here. This cost me, aside from just getting the jewel, this cost me a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, 17 passive skill points. Now, you know in your head about how valuable a single passive point is. 17 passive points for 200% increased rarity. I mean, I don't know. If you ask me, that's definitely not worth it. That's so much player power you're losing out. So, I present to you the tech. We have, right here, a Thread of Hope massive wheel. And if you deposit this down into the south wheel... By the way, Massive Thread of Hope is actually really popular for Deadeyes right here for a variety of reasons. You may already be familiar with it. And yes, in case you didn't know, you can actually run 2 separate Thread of Hopes. They can even be the same type at the same time, which is something I'm going to be doing, actually, from now on. So that's a nice little quick tip for you. But anyway, I'm going to put this back here, if I can. Oh, we got to actually put the points in, don't we? Okay, there it is. Now, you'll see that an interesting thing happened here, right? So, suddenly, 2 of the 3 are now inside the major massive wheel. Well, that's nice and convenient. That means I no longer would need to path to these. I can just take the points straight up like this. Look at that. I mean, I just took the points right there. There they are. Just saved a lot of points. Now, I did have to path a little bit down to the massive wheel, but fortunately, this massive wheel has a lot of other values too, like this 8% reservation efficiency, like True Strike here, or like Overcharged right here, and potentially something else maybe, but that's probably it. That's going to be valuable to you. But anyway, that's a pretty nice usage of the massive wheel to get these 5 separate points in there. I think most people would be pretty happy with that. And so that means, we still have 3 left, right? So I'd still have to path up here. But we're not finished yet. Nope, the tech's not done yet. I'm going to introduce you now. Strangle Grasp. So let me actually do it this way. So Strangle Grasp also has a divination card which can be turned in. This drops off the unending Hunger, I think it is. Pretty sure it's a very rare drop because this card's worth 2 divines right now. But you can turn it in, and then, you know, if you wanted to get this set up properly, of course, you're going to want to maximize the attribute roll. We're going to go for 16, and then we're going to catalyst it up to get it even higher. I mean, you could technically use a different catalyst if you wanted to go for a different one, but there it is. It's done, right? And then you're going to want to anoint it. And, I mean, I'll just do this in real time, so, you know, it's just nice to show you guys. So, for me, I like Whispers of Doom. That's sort of my primary anointment. So if I need an extra curse, I'm going to put Whispers of Doom on there. Now, if I don't need an extra curse, maybe I'd use Sovereignty. These kind of seem to be, at least for Tornado Shot characters, probably the 2 best options for anointments. And usually with an amulet, you're going to choose one or the other on your Omniscience, on your Karuri's Ward, on whatever amulet you're using. But Strangle Grasp says here can have 3 additional enchantment modifiers, and that refers to the actual anointments. So this is the question people always bring to me when asking about this amulet. I anoint it once here, and then I can also put Sovereignty right here. Wow, now has 2, but it can have 3 additional. It can have 4 total. 4 total, which is pretty crazy. Now, what about the other 2? Well, you know, you could research and figure out exactly what you want with the other 2, but in this case, for this, what I'm looking at here is, well, I got one that's 3 points away, I got one that's a lot further away up here. 2 discerning tastes. Now, in case you weren't aware, I can see here it says Path of the Warrior, and I can click Alt to see the anointments there. Up here, we got Dreamer. There's the anointments there. And I can plug this back in, and wow, you may not believe this, but if I just anoint this with Path of the Warrior and Dreamer, voila, it's done. Check this out. Put this right on. Bam! Oh my god, I suddenly magically have the other 2. Now it says requirements not met because I'm, you know, obviously my gear is in shambles right now with changing my passive skill tree all around. But it absolutely does work. And then I'll go ahead and manually put 2 points here. And my goodness, would you believe that it costs me a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 passive points. I just showed you how to get 200% increased rarity for the cost of 4 passive points. Obviously, it costs an extra 2 anointments as well, which of course have a lot of player power, but that's what this amulet's for. And it did cost you an extra few passive points down here, but I mean, you're already getting a bunch of alternate value down here as well. I do have the chat open because I wanted to bring in the live chat to see some of the responses on this video. It's not something I always do. Somebody asked no champion of the cause. Yes, it's indeed true. I did have champion of the cause on my other amulet, and that was giving me a little bit of extra reservation efficiency. I did come to find for my build I don't need it. Champion of the cause is significantly weaker than sovereignty. So you're going to take sovereignty over it, but you know, depending on your reservation setup, I mean, you might be in a weird situation where you can't spare the reservation efficiency. I can. So this is just an unbelievably strong quadruple anointment for this particular tech. You know, still getting the most powerful one in the game, arguably, which is an extra curse if you need it, and then probably the second most powerful option if you need any reservation efficiency, you would see, which would be sovereignty, since we already get to take charisma manually. So that's it. I mean, that's basically the tech there. Pretty incredible, if you ask me. It took me a long time. I actually discovered this on stream, surprisingly. And, you know, once again, I got to say, this is not for the faint of heart. I mean, anyone who's going for this particular tech is going to have to pay an arm and a leg. Bare minimum, you're paying like 50 divines for this Thread of Hope, especially if you want the perfect elemental resist. For this jewel seed, it has to be this seed. It's probably non-existent right now, especially since I'm putting it on blast here as we're talking live. But I will say this. I did have this particular seed already on my radar before because I knew it was a potential 5 rarity notable seed. And I did have it set up on my live search for like the entire last month. It was always It was always listed for somewhere between 50 and 100 divines, and there usually was at least one available at a given time. But it was I never saw it cheaper than 50 divines. Just letting you know that. And so now we're looking at it basically being non-existent, or probably going to cost upwards of half a mirror or maybe a full mirror now. I don't know if anyone even has one or could sell it. So people are obviously not divining these anymore, but the 5-way runners are still running. So stay on the lookout if you want to try and snipe it from anyone else. Yeah, and somebody just mentioned standard. That's absolutely right. Honestly, probably the most useful thing about me explaining this from a practical sense is going to be people who play standard, because this is potentially going to be a brand new meta here in the end. Again, I'm not talking about Tornado Shot Ascendant today. I will make a separate video on that specifically, but this tech in particular certainly has got me excited for Tornado Shot Ascendant, for Magic Find especially. So that's it. There it is. It's done. Except we're not finished yet. We're not finished because you'll notice that this amulet, all it's giving me is the 4 anointments and the 19 all attribute implicit. Now, if you were to try and, I don't know, stat weight the value of 3 extra anointments, it's essentially giving me, let's say I had a standard amulet and I wanted +1 curse, okay? And then I get sovereignty for free. Now, sovereignty is giving me 12% mana reservation and 10% increased non-curse or effective non-curse auras on my skills. That is, of course, like probably 2 tier 1 modifiers right there. Getting 40% rarity, I mean, that's basically 1 or 2, I mean, way more than 1, probably about 2 tier 1 modifiers there. And then getting an extra 40% rarity, probably an extra 1 or 2 tier 1 modifiers. So basically, what I'm saying is that a quadruple anointed amulet by itself is effectively worth pretty much a 6 tier 1 amulet with particular mods that you want, like their mods of choice for the most part, or at least close to it. So it's already a great amulet, but we can do much better. As you can see here, I've been sporting an amulet, and look at this thing. I mean, I got very lucky with this. So this amulet rolled. When it bricked, it rolled 6 modifiers. I believe it always rolls 6 modifiers if you brick it via a Val Orb. And it rolled max life, elemental damage with attacks, which are 2 fantastic prefixes. It rolled all attributes. It rolled lightning res, which I actually could use. It rolled regen and armor. Those aren't that great. But just try and think in your head how much added value that is for an amulet like this. To have 4 anointments you want, and then 6 explicit, 3 of which are S tier quality. Well, if they were tier 1, of course. And in order to move the tiers around, I'm actually able to do that safely in the end. If I do happen to find one that's got great rare mods, I can use Tainted Divine Teardrops on it in mass to randomly shift the modifiers. There's a 50% chance of going up or down. I think it calculates them individually. Unfortunately, these are extraordinarily rare and extremely expensive as well. I think at least 2 Divine Orbs a piece at this point. We're also going to be messing with a lot of other tainted currencies here, and I have an example of some corrupted onyx amulets. I just want to kind of showcase to you guys right now what this looks like, what these different items or these different currencies kind of do. Check out the Tainted Exalted Orb. It says here unpredictably adds or removes the modifier. I believe it's a 50-50 chance, so let's find one that has preferably not 6 mods on it already. Okay, this one right here. This one has 4 mods. Let's see what happens when I do this. Okay, it added a mod. Now it could have just taken a mod away potentially. Let's see what happens when I hit it with a Tainted Chaos Orb. Oh, it goes white. Yeah, so if we read Tainted Chaos Orbs, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't used a whole lot of these yet. It has a 50% chance to just reforge it into completely new modifiers. Probably 4, 5, or 6 modifiers, usually 4, or a 50% chance to just completely brick into white. Now, the nice thing is, not all is lost. If this happens to the Strangle Grasp, we have a Tainted Mythic Orb, which unpredictably either upgrades a corrupted item into a unique rarity or destroys it. Now, let's try it. Let's see what happens when I hit this. Oh, bam! Wow. Wow, that's interesting that I actually hit Carnage Heart. Especially that I hit Carnage Carnage Heart here. I'm going to explain this in a second. I'm going to run through these. I'm just going to show you what happens when we spam Tainted Mythic Orbs on here so you can kind of see what some of the results are. Okay, poof, poof, Carnage Heart, Eye of Chayula, poof, 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 Carnage Heart, Hinakora's Sight, Yoke of Suffering, poof. So this is what I expected, because last time I did this little test, it was about a 50-52. It depends on the weighting availabilities of some of the options on there, but you can see that this sucker has a pretty good chance of converting back into a Carnage Heart especially, which is actually an A-tier option for this Onyx Amulet here, this Strangle Grasp. And it's ultimately one of the final results that I'm looking at potentially getting as being a sort of final option here. So imagine this Strangle Grasp with these 4 anointments onto a Carnage Heart. Imagine putting 4 anointments on a Carnage Heart, and that's basically what we're looking at. Yoke of Suffering is actually probably the single best option for a Tornado Shot character. This is effectively 15% extra damage from monsters taken. It's giving me some resistance, giving me free chance to shock. It says all elemental damage can shock, which is actually really cool, because when it rolls freeze, it can still shock as well, and shock really hard, because I'm doing more cold damage than I am lightning damage by default. So that's actually super nice. I lose the all attributes. One of the things I really like about Carnage Heart is this enormous all attribute roll, which feeds in nicely for the Catalyst as well, and then percent damage increased while leeching. So these are actually the 2 options that are super good. Now if I turn it into a Hinakora's Sight or Eye of Chayula, that's not going to be anything good. Ironically, Chayula does give me some rarity. But anyway, if you're wondering what all the options are, we can go down here right quick and see Onyx Amulet here. These are all the potential unique versions. Now, it can only transform back into a global unique Onyx Amulet. It cannot transform into an Ul's Uprising, for example. It cannot transform back into a Strangle Grasp. It cannot transform into an Impresence, I believe. So it can only hit kind of like, I believe, maybe if somebody can clarify, like it definitely can't go into an Omniscience or an Ashes of the Star. I think actually those are the only 4 options. Carnage Heart, Eye of Chayula, Hinakora's Sight. Oh, also Astramentus. I forgot, I can't hit Astramentus, which has a much lower weighting, so it's much less likely to hit. Now, Astramentus is an interesting option. Obviously, having a huge attribute roll that's already catalysted up is not so bad, but it's definitely not as good, I think, as overall as Carnage Heart, probably, and definitely not as good as Yoke of Suffering, which is right here. This is the one I really want to hit. Now, of course, I have the opportunity to hit an absolute insane rare. I think the potential of this is just off the chart. So you would have to go crazy with the currency and try to hit something insane. In order to hit something insanely valuable, you would have to spend untold amounts of currency. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I could end up with something rare. You know, imagine if I hit a rare with like max life, elemental damage attacks, all resist, all attributes, rarity prefix, rarity suffix. You know, like I hit double rarity on the corruption. Are you kidding me? That would be insane. But anyway, that's kind of what we're going to go for. And I have in my possession here 41 Tainted Chaos Orbs, 55 Exalted Orbs, and 47 Tainted Mythic Orbs. But the truth is, I'm not going to get the opportunity to use much tainted currency, because the whole process has started from a Val Orb, a simple Val Orb. Now, you can use the Double Corruption Chamber, but I believe that can actually double corrupt it into an influenced item, potentially, but I believe it only goes into 4 modifiers. Again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe if you brick, I think it's a 1 in 4 chance either way, whether it's the Double Corruption Chamber or Val Orb, and the Val Orb is superior in my opinion, because it automatically bricks it into 6 modifiers, so you automatically get like the highest chance of having a usable rare. So that's where we're going to start. Now, we cannot actually use the Val Orb on all of these right now. We need to anoint it first, so there's added cost on top of everything else. I have to put Whispers of Doom, Sovereignty, and Dreamer, and Path of the Warrior on each one of these before I Val Orb it, because that's my last chance. I can't do it after I brick it into a rare, because then it's no longer a Strangle Gasp, but it still retains the properties that I gave it initially. So that's a big confusing point that a lot of people had as to, you know, how in the world did you end up with, you know, an amulet that's not technically a Strangle Gasp but still has 4 anointment on it. So let's try it out. Here is the big gambling portion you've all been waiting for. I'm just going to do these one at a time, because I'm not actually going to do this to all of these. I'm going to do it until I hit something that is perfectly satisfactory. So, Val Orb on number 1. Here it is. Okay, so this is a typical result. Nothing happened, and unfortunately, this is basically trash. Now, I can probably still sell this for like 1, maybe 2 Divine Orbs. So this is a non-brick bricked. So we're actually wanting to brick these, and I failed to brick it. So it's a complete waste. That's 12, 13, 14 divines down the drain. Every time it doesn't even brick me, that's just down the drain right there. Once again, I'm going to anoint with what I need here. Want to be careful to make sure I select the right ones. All there. They're all catalyst up and everything. So Val Orb number 2. Okay. Failed again. That's another 12, 13, or 14 Divine Orbs down the drain. I was prepared for this. It took me 11 tries to even successfully brick the one that I'm using currently, which, I mean, really irked me. I hope I don't get that unlucky again. These things are only going up in price. So here it is. That's the way it should be. Okay, so this is what we call the positive result, where it changed the implicit into something that is obviously even less valuable than 19 all attributes, sadly. So once again, a failed attempt. So here we go. Oh, maybe I'll do them backwards. I'll get luckier. By the way, I'm told you can re-anoint the bottom one. Like, you can never, I don't think you can ever shift around the top ones unless you went over here. In case you accidentally made a mistake here, I believe you can go over here and you can remove enchantments completely and start over. But you can always reset the 4th one. Like, if I just tried to re-enchant the 4th one. You know, let's actually test that. I'm curious if that works. I'm told it does. Nope. Okay, I was wrong. Apparently that that just replaced the top one. Okay, so that's new information learned on the go. Though I basically just wasted all the anoints, so that's all right. Well, it's nice to share that. Oh, now it's fine. That's weird. It's already fine now. I don't. Okay. Maybe there's some sort of weird coding about that. Yeah. Or maybe it just randomly selects one. Not sure. But anyway, I want Whispers of Doom, Sovereignty, Dreamer, and Path of the Warrior. So that's fine. Let's Val Orb it, see what happens. Failed again. Okay, well, not looking good. 0 for 4. Attempt number 5. 0 for 5. This may be a miserable gambling experience. I'm not just gambling for the sake of making money. This is like the final piece to the gearing that I need. I mean, I basically shifted all my gear from my Deadeye over to my Ascendant, but I do need this new piece. So it's actually kind of important to me that I don't fail this. Change the implicit again. Okay, another fail. Okay, that was 6. It's very, I mean, this is super expensive. I mean, it's not that expensive in the grand scheme of things. It's like, this is effectively all of these combined is like the cost of trying to double corrupt a Mage Blood, essentially. So it's not that insane, but you know, it is painful, obviously. Okay, we hit something. All right, let's take a look at it. So finally hit rare, and I can see here, oh wow, this is actually interesting. So the tiers are terrible. I hit max life. And remember, it can use tainted teardrop orbs, you know, pay an arm and a leg. I mean, it's again, what do these cost again? Yeah, it's still basically an arm and a leg to to buy these and to spam them on there. It would take a really long time to force a max life roll from tier 9 up to like tier 2 or tier 3 or something. Then we're also looking at 9 strength and all resistances. So I don't know. In my mind, that's just not really good enough. It's just not good enough. Now I have some options here. So here's where I get to play around a little bit. Either looking at Tainted Chaos Orbs or Tainted Exalted Orbs. And again, a Tainted Exalted Orb. First of all, a Tainted Exalted Orb is going to be really expensive right off the bat because I already have 6 mods, right? So what I want to have happen is I want to basically I want to get all attributes onto this, or I want to, get rarity rolls onto this. Well, I already have 6 locked up. So a Tainted Exalted Orb, best case scenario, my first Tainted Exalted Orb removes a mod. But that's not going to be that good, right? Because then I'd have to use another one, and maybe it removes another mod, or maybe it adds a mod, I don't know. Or maybe my first Tainted Exalted Orb adds a mod to get a 7th mod, but you can't have 7 mods, so it's actually just completely wasted and doesn't do anything. So Tainted Chaos absolutely is the play on the first one. I would always use the Tainted Chaos Orb initially off of having 6 mods, unless I had like 4 really good ones. I wanted to save some, but then I would probably just keep the amulet, right? I would just keep it and then use something else. So here we go. We're going to use Tainted Chaos, and boom. All right. So it had a 50-50 shot of this happening. Now, you remember, I had roughly 50% chance of transforming these and a very high chance of Carnage Heart. I think Eye of Chayula also has a pretty high chance of happening. But oh, here we go. I mean, this is a big moment here. This is the final step in this crafting gambling process, and I'm praying that I hit a Yoke of Suffering. I'm also hoping that I get a Carnage Heart that preferably has a pretty high rolls. Now you see, it's a little bit unfortunate. Carnage Heart has some pretty big range of rolls. Look at that, 20 to 40 all attributes, 10 to 20 all elemental res, and even the percent damage leeching. So even the rolls on Carnage Heart kind of iffy. So here we go. I know this is fun for the viewers out there. Let's hit it. I'm getting my streamer RNG. I'm pressing my streamer RNG button now to make sure I have the highest chance of getting it. This is 50-50. Not good. I might be able to sell this, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'll be able to sell this for something. I have absolutely no idea what this will sell for, but it is at least valuable. It does have some valuable rolls. It's just pretty bad. It's cute. It's interesting, and it actually rolled very highly, as a matter of fact. But it's not what I want. Okay, this is just not what I want. At least I have some sort of emergency backup, though. Like, at least, if nothing else, I mean, maybe try and use that. If I can't get anything else. Yeah. So, what do we have? We've already used half of the Strangle Gasp Onyx Amulet. I should, mathematically speaking, get a chance to do this 3 times, but, we'll see. Hopefully. Here we go again. I gotta do my anoints. So if that had hit a Carnage Heart or a Yoke, I would have just stopped. I would have been done. I would have probably resold the Strangle Gasps back out. But, you guys get the pleasure of watching me blow more currency. So, yeah, that's nice. Here we go. It would be really nice if this goes rare. And it did not. So that's another waste. Failed again. I didn't realize this, but I didn't actually buy enough oils. I thought I bought enough oils, but apparently not. Oh, Wrath has increased aura effect. That's wonderful. That's just wonderful. Thank you for that. Yeah, you can see just how important that Tainted Mythic Orb moment was. I mean, that's a very important moment that you're trying to, make it succeed. Okay, we hit another one. Oh my goodness. Wow, what's this? Oh, spell damage. Oh, this is an interesting result. So I actually hit tier 1 rarity. I mean, yeah, actually, this is tier 1 physical and tier 1 rarity and tier 6 elemental damage. I have to keep this. I have to keep this. It's not really what I want, but it's an interesting result. Double exalted. I don't know, man. Actually hitting tier 1 fizz and tier 1 rarity is pretty insane to hit those both, and I still get a little bit of elemental damage with attacks. They're already tier 1, so I'm not inclined to mess with tainted teardrops. I cannot in good faith try and mythic orb or mess with this. I don't think. I just think it's a bad idea. You know, if I were to mess with this, tainted exalts would be the way to go. I don't know. I'll think about it a little bit. We're gonna put this to the side. This is pretty good. Yeah, it's kind of a keeper. Yeah, someone says 4 out of 6 chance it removes a bad mod. Well, look, I mean, even 11 life regen, that's not a bad mod, per se. I guess it's not that useful. And fire res, I don't get any value out of that, unfortunately. Spell damage truly is, like, useless, basically. I guess, you know, if we run into a situation where probably what's going to happen is I'm going to keep this for now, and then somewhere down the line, like within, you know, we're only halfway, evidently we're only like halfway through the league here. So this is turned into a 4-month league. No, there's no way I would just mythic orb this, right? No. I am going to go ahead and move forward and do the other two because I'm not really satisfied with that. First of all, I have some issues with my res and or all attributes anyway, so I kind of need to hit a Carnage Heart. If I hit a Yoke of Suffering, I'll have to figure some things out with the rest of the gear and stuff. But Carnage Heart definitely would just like be like perfect. I can use it immediately and I have the character basically finished. Anyway, let's go ahead and try. I guess I got one more. I'm supposed to have 2 more, but I need to buy golden oil. I guess. Alright, come on, baby. Hit me. Rare. Dang. Man, I'm getting so unlucky. Only 2. Alright, let me go buy golden oil. 1 golden oil here. This will only take a second. Ah, he's D&D. Yeah, there's also that fact. So one of the main reasons though I wouldn't use tainted exalts on this is because not only are you risking it ripping off a good mod, then you know you're taking a chance of it also continuing to rip off mods even after it does like let's say it successfully removed fire res. Great. So I use another tainted exalt. Oh shit, now it just removed rarity. I mean, that's really bad, right? But let's say it actually added a mod. So that would be like 2 50-50 good fortune rolls, right? And then it rolled onto it like, I don't know, it just put fire res back onto it, you know, something like that. That's probably what's going to happen. So it's just such a low chance of hitting what I want. Okay. Well, the league is dead, so I don't know. I may not be able to buy an oil. Let me scroll all the way down to like and pay just an absolute ridiculous amount for 1 oil. Okay. Or that works. It might hit +1 all. Well, actually +1 all is not even that amazing for me. Well, I guess it would be actually in the end. It wouldn't be that amazing for my main links though, because we don't get use out of. Yeah, sorry for that person there. We don't get extra benefit really out of our main links, attack-based skill gem. So we have one final attempt here for now. Failed. Well, there it is. there it is. So this is his 11 failures to success. Now, out of 1 in 4 odds, obviously I got unlucky. So what am I going to do? Anyway, that is it for that tech. That basically a full-blown showcase, gambling and everything. So I hope you liked the video. You can comment in the description below. You can ask questions if you want. Can I vendor 5 to 1? Not corrupted. So good question in the chat, but I cannot do that. Couldn't you do more to your current one? Of course, I could do more to it. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. That's it for the video. Again, the next major video on this topic is going to be showcasing the Ascendant. Once I get it finished, once I get a satisfactory Strangle Gasp, I'll have it basically finished, and then I can showcase it to you and kind of go through the pros and cons, you know, the major differences between Deadeye and Ascendant, and why you might be interested in doing Deadeye, and especially for the standard players out there who are magic finding, why they, those people who got all the currency in the world would probably want to do Ascendant over it. Pretty cool stuff, I think. Yeah, that's it. See you in the next video.